When last did anyone create paradise out of your skin? When last did you have your bones erased for the spirit's sake? When last did you bloom? When last did you acknowledge the sanctuary that you found in someone else? When last did you have a human being that you allowed yourself to be broken in front of? A human being who reinforced your immediate completeness? When last did you allow your ego to evaporate and give someone else a portion of your right to be in control? It's risky, it is. Because none of us are immune to gravity, and we know this. We know by being intimate we could very well end up slipping through their fingers. It's the reason why we build defense mechanisms. We build them due to the calluses on our spirits. They help us avoid the need of needing someone else. It's hard to fall. But we try again and again in hopes that there just might be someone out there with open arms that can catch us. So let me ask again. When last did you bloom?
All I want is to be with somebody, take my pain away. I hear music playing so loudly, sing me now in the night wide awake. I'm wide awake. We don't need to explain everything, no. All we need is to feel. We don't have to make any decision. It is part of the deal. You like it? You like it? So watch my body, just take it all in, just take it all in, just take it all in. So pay attention, I'm coming your way, I'm coming your way, All I want is to be with somebody, take my pain away. I am music playing so loudly, see me now in the night wide awake. We don't need to explain everything. No, all we need is to feel. We don't have to make any decisions. It is part of the deal. You like it, get. You like it. So watch my body just take it all in. Take it all in. Just take it all in. So pay attention, I'm coming your way. I'm coming your way. You like it? Hey, yeah. Oh, yeah. You like it? So watch my body just take it all in. Take it all in. Just take it all in. So pay attention, I'm coming your way. I'm coming your way. You like it? You like it? So watch my body just take it all in. Take it all in. Just take it all in. So pay attention, I'm coming your way. I'm coming your way. You like it? Hey, yeah. Oh, yeah. You like it? So watch my body just take it all in. Take it all in. Just take it all in. So pay attention, I'm coming your way. I'm coming your way. You like it?
As I look back at my infancy, I was given a mask since my sonography scan without wanting to plan for my birth. I didn't even know my humanness on this earth yet, or the difference of gender but through words and gestures. As a toddler, I've been told to collect my tears and internalize them in folded letters. Internal intimacy became so unclear. I read connections to flashbacks. I see reflections in myself of my dad. I view conflictions through a different mask, proving that I can, playing the game, gaming the play, continuing to be hard at all times, contributing to the line, never back down, stand your ground, be grounded but stay fly, yet unable to talk nor be as gentle as a dandelion. To be honest, I never wanted to play the part of a weak dude. I was afraid to be judged for my heart when I fell under spectrums, patriarchal spells that should be discontinued, inhibiting happiness, sincere interactions that have been overdue, envious of those who knew themselves or strengthened their embodiment of joy too. Therefore, I want to rebel against society, be a rebellious body without taking off the lipstick imprinted in my corpse, covered in an outcome of a designated pedestal form. A man dressed in a mask, showered in secret rainstorms, flourished in the troublesome of a male lifespan, stuck in an ideal vase, making it difficult to bloom the innocence of my fullest potential face. Who I am today, I still face. Learning to clear up the fog to see through my mask lenses, such as the wrong historical language, smogging anguish, telling little boys, no crying, be a man and stop being a little girl. I didn't understand that as a child, when all I needed was some hugging from this world. I was, who am I? What should I emote as a boy? Y qué permiso me doy? Y por eso llorando me pregunto, what is intimacy to you? Toying in this body that I did not choose to but was born into due to destiny. What am I supposed to actually be? A mi espíritu yo le digo hoy, how was I supposed to know? Like, did I even have enough permission to explore my humanity through the lens of this society? Or play with what was intriguing to my new life? What color I should like? Why couldn't I be free to cry or express my fullest divine? Pretending that everything is alright. But look at my testament, my spirit lamenting pretenses that are not right. Especially growing up in my adolescence. Complex lessons in this flesh, suppressing feelings, silent screaming, the essence of help, grasping like a fish gasping for air caught in a net. A disconnection of ourselves, dissociation that resulted in emotions compiled, anger reviled, memories defiled. Intimacy turned to replacements, and later learned to place them in euphoric substitutions, infusions, paradoxical satisfaction, collecting glass bottles, diffusing realizations, dose of toxic troubles, drowning intoxications for all of my struggles, vomiting boost up egos and getting high for the levitation. Honestly, I'm just trying to escape reality, man. Our reality of this world's honored perception of what a man should and cannot be.
Silence is a color that you wear so well, brings out your natural beauty. Hope is a feeling that I hold on to at night when I'm not dreaming. Don't you wish for anything more? And fall into the morning from a soft, sweet dream that once was my reality. Then stand beneath the sky and let the rain fall down to rinse me from my agony. Don't you wish for anything more? And feeling your touch drift away into a distant memory, and the sound of your beautiful voice becomes a haunting melody. Ooh. Holding on to nothing leaves you hanging by the threads of fragile longing, laying in the stillness of a slivered moon. I hear the distance calling. Don't you wish for anything more? Feeling your touch drift away into a distant memory,
So I stand here before me, telling myself that it's okay to not be okay. My humanness is gentle like a butterfly, daily finding its cocoon, staying grounded to be able to fly like a phoenix, rising like my sunset moon, a powerful complex metaphor, unraveling the resurrection, undressing pretenses, unmasking these top faces, unlocking this ribcage tension that's holding my true spirit hostage for the sake of others. So stop giving me a fucking mask to fit in. I don't want to. I want to be free to express, to cry, to feel, to move how I want to be, to love, to know intimacy, to flourish, to wish, to be happy. I want to be me. I want to just be human. I just want to be human.
Hi, thank you for coming and witnessing my process. This piece has been a journey and a very intimate one. I wanted to do this project because I wanted to ground myself in my improvisational practice as performance. As long as I can remember, when I first started dancing, all my performances were structured improvisations. And that's where I felt the most alive and the most connected with God. Later, as I progressed in my dance studies, I learned that improvisation was only to generate movement and not necessarily to perform unless under dire circumstances. And I began to develop a negative perception about improvisation, and I began to have false inclinations about performing with improvisation. And that came from a Eurocentric lens, going through college and then witnessing what was happening in contemporary art forms in modern and postmodern learning, that I began to feel this separation from spirit and from my African ancestry. So upon entering this MFA program, I dedicated myself to spirit and to the embodiment of spirit, and to discover a practice that was unique and special and organic for me. And I decided that the Kwanzaa principles were that they not only give me a path and a guide to spirit and knowing myself better, but they also withhold a wealth of information on how we as a people of African descent can model not only our daily lives and actions, but also our minds. So here I stand before you. I have gone through the 7 principles of Kwanzaa in an improvisational practice. I have done them numerous times. Each principle I went through numerous times, did numerous drafts, and I've been practicing Kwanzaa since I was 5, so 1991, and now I am 34. So it has been quite some time I've had with the principles, and I believe in order to truly embody them, you need to have a sustainable amount of information with these principles. So this piece is not only a reflection, it is also dedicated to breaking the mental and physical constructs that cloud my vision. This is against and in reaction to white supremacy in the dance world, and I just welcome you along. So we began this journey with the Nguzo Saba, which are the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, with Umoja. Umoja, I had to dig deep to find a personal story that would reflect my engagement with Umoja. I asked myself many of questions that wanted me to dig deeper into what does unity mean. Umoja, as defined by Dr. Karenga, is to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. And although some people will reduce that to just standing in a circle and holding hands, unity is far more complex than that. It is talking about harmony within ourselves and within our people. It is talking about wholeness. It is about seeing one another. It is about using each other's strengths and coming together for a common goal. And that common goal is to overcome oppression and to be active against white supremacy. We as a people have to decide for ourselves what is more important. Just only worried about the individual achievements of someone, or about the achievements of our people, of our culture. And finding that personal story in Umoja took some work, but I found it. And the story that resonated with me was a time period where I was amongst a group of people in a community that only wanted to do things by themselves. They didn't want to come together for us to solve a problem. And it was very unharmonious. It was the very opposite of that. And being in an environment where there is no harmony, where there is no centering of love or of the earth, coming back to Mother Earth, the roots of humanity, and walking in that we as an African people are the beginnings of human civilization, knowing that power changes how you move. And unity, the beginnings of the Nguzo Saba, the foundation that lays the path for our continued struggle and fight against this oppression, is paramount to recognize. And so when I found this story that I witnessed and I experienced the separation and the loss of focus, how it made me feel, which was terrible, and how disillusioned the entire environment was, and how our things that we wanted to accomplish didn't get accomplished, was very saddening. But I have also witnessed unity at work. When I am in powerful places where people are coming into the room with their full selves, understanding where they have come from to know where they are going, Sankofa, oh, that is such an experience of joy. So Umoja, unity. The next principle of the Nagunzo Saba is Kuji Chakalia, self-determination. To define ourselves, name ourselves, and speak for ourselves instead of being defined, named, created for, and spoken for by others. This is my favorite principle, but oddly enough, it was one of the most challenging principles for me to find a story that resonated or to discover the story that resonated. And I believe that might be because of my close relationship with always being able to adapt to what someone else wants me to be. I have sort of a talent for being so adaptable that I can lose my sense of self, and finding a story where I stood my ground and I shaped myself because I wanted to do that was pretty challenging, and it gave me insight to what I need to continue to work on inside of this principle, that to shape and mold ourselves, I felt like that was sand, that when you shape wet sand, that you're creating a new sort of shape, molding, and that should be because I want to do it, not because you are asking me to change. So in this principle, I stand my ground and I look and I say, no, not you, me. I decide, and you are not going to tell me who I am or where I am going. I define that. I say, what my future is. I decide what my choices are. That's the determination that I'm willing to stand in and to continue to cultivate. So Ujima is the third principle of the Nigunza Saba. It is collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community together and make our sisters and brothers' problems our problems and to solve them together. I felt intuitively that this principle is asking me to get down into the labor of what it takes to maintain our strength as a community. This is about effort. This is about continued effort, so the endurance of it and the ability to see someone else and that empathy that is required, the compassion that is required in Ujima, the vision to see and to allow other people into this space. That is so much heart, soul, and passion that is required. And I felt like I wanted to highlight that labor, because I think all too often do we think that Ujima and even Ujama, just the idea of Kwanzaa in itself, which is a communal, a humanitarian holiday, and it emphasizes community as one of the pillars, that we think that that just means sitting in a circle and hugging each other, and it's not. That is the furthest thing. So feeling this principle in my body was getting the effort and pulling from other people, feeling and witnessing the energy from someone else and putting it on my back, feeling it in my torso, and just engaging and seeing it and creating that symmetry, that ascension that spirals up through to the heavens, back down into the earth was really important. And discovering this story within me of when I've had to take on my brothers and sisters' problems and how that made me feel. Sometimes it's it can be taxing, but at the end of it, I am joyful knowing that we came together in spite of. What an awesome feeling. In spite of, we decided together to go through this and to overcome. Oh, what an experience. Ujama, cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. This principle is talking about sharing our resources, knowing that Mother Earth was here for us all, that she is our abundance. She is magnificent. And it is our duty as a people to make everything that she produces accessible. We are not to be selfish. We are not to hoard. We are to give and give generously to ensure that everyone can eat, can sleep, and be sheltered in harmony and in peace. So in feeling this principle, how to gather the soil of the earth and how to share it amongst was really important to me. I know that I have had many stories as an artist where I did not have access to basic needs, and that was frightening and scary. But in going through that, I understood the importance, or I've come to understand the importance of ensuring that others do not have to go through that same situation. So I have a great value in this embodiment of gathering through the energy, through the soil, and giving it out amongst and sharing. What does that mean in my body to give and to nurture and feel the connection amongst us through that sort of energy? Ujamaa is it's a frequency, and I want it to radiate throughout, and I want it to come up and out and back in and up and out and back in, and I want to plant more seeds of the earth. I want us as a people to continue to give back to Mother Earth so that we can thrive as a nation. The fifth principle of the Nguzo Saba is Nia, purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Nia is not just talking about your individual purpose, and discovering that, because I did also have that falsehood growing up, practicing Kwanzaa, that I thought it was about my purpose and my dreams and what did God give me. Now, as I've matured in understanding purpose is deeper or layered within myself in relationship to others, has been a pretty powerful awakening, and knowing and feeling good, knowing that if I can look to my community and see what is missing and then go do that and feel purposeful that I am helping others and that is also filling my cup up, what an experience. it's been so gratifying to feel that fullness in myself, that I don't have to look for my purpose blindly or in the dark, that my inner light will also help light up other people's. And that's beautiful, that all of our lights can be lit and be shining when we look to one another for their lights. It's a sort of connection and layered response that you can only get to after looking within yourself and asking yourself some tough questions. All too long have I given myself this idea that I'm not purposeful unless I'm achieving something. And that's not what Kwanzaa is asking us to do. Kwanzaa's not asking us to have all the accolades and all the achievements for ourselves. Because what does that mean? If your people are starving, if your people are being murdered in the street, if your people are being oppressed, if your people cannot speak, what does one scholarship mean all the time? What does one accolade mean to your people? That's the question that I ask myself. I think those things are great. But Nia is asking me to dig deeper, to open my eyes, and to see the connection of purpose in me and into you, so that we can all be lights. That is what I found with Nia. This inner awakening and seeing others as purposeful. The sixth principle of the Ngunzo Saba is Kuumba, creativity, to do always as much as we can in the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. Kuumba was also a tough principle for me to resonate with and embody, which I think is very interesting that the two K principles I had the most struggle with, if you will, finding a story that resonated. And I think it's also because of the perception of creativity. A lot of times in in white supremacy or white dominant societies like America, creativity is usually in a vacuum, that you isolate it to what you want to create and then hopefully you'll sell it to somebody, is more or less what's going on in our society. And Kwanzaa is not like that. The creativity is being defined here differently. This sort of creativity is asking us and asking me, to break free of any constructs that wouldn't allow you to create and support the community. So what are your strengths that you want to bring that will help make the culture thrive and be magnificent? How do you place yourself inside of this creation or this manifestation of the ideas that we can all have inside of beauty? So it was tough, and I wanted to emphasize the breaking free of the old ways that I looked at creativity. I wanted to break free of the idea that blackness is ugly. Blackness is beautiful. So the thing that I am, the thing that we are is beautiful, and that we need to pass down our ideas of beauty to one another, that it's ourselves. We are passing down the beauty of ourselves through our DNA, through our storytelling, that in itself is beautiful. Being is beautiful. But I had to break free of my illusions and my misunderstandings of blackness and of our potential as a people. Oh my gosh, to break free that, yes, we might still be in it today, but that does not mean there will not be a better day tomorrow. Kuumba, creativity, creating a better future for ourselves, creating beauty inside of what we have now for the future, for our descendants. Effort. The last principle is Imani, faith. To believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, in the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Imani took me to breath. It took me to the ether. It took me to ancestry. It took me to descendants. It was a portal that I felt in Imani. This sense of connection that is vertical, but then is also expansive and also spiraling, and the taking off of fear and releasing it to God. Imani is sweet. Imani is powerful. Imani is hope. So getting into this principle was a moment of sacredness, reflection, and contemplation, meditation, prayer. Not only for myself, but for my family, my friends, and for the greatness of people of African descent. To come from Moja, starting with Mother Earth, and then going through the body till Imani, up to the heavens, feeling that connection through these 7 principles. And allowing that to resonate, surrender, and that jubilation, and to have peace and harmony, that complete, total, whole feeling. It was well worth it. So in my return to spirit, these principles allowed me to root myself like that of a tree, the tree of life, the tree of giving, to go through its roots, its trunk, and then to reach out into its branches and fruits, and the taste of joy and love and sweetness, and have those branches reach all the way out to the heavens. That's the return to spirit. And I truly feel that this has been a moment for me to see myself and to see others in a beautiful connection and harmony. And I feel really blessed to have been able to do this, and I look forward to continuing to do this. And in a return to spirit, you will witness all the principles working together to remain in a constant dialogue with the things that not only make me beautiful and special and unique, but other African people as well. And it is always a we, because we are in an interactive world. We are in an interconnected world. We are not here by ourselves. So what better practice than improvisation to embody these principles? Because it is in the here and in the now that we must see each other if we are going to thrive. So, I thank you for witnessing this journey and seeing my growth, using improvisation as the best way that I could go through these principles. That is the beauty of the connection of the Ngunzo Saba.
hallelujah. I sing hallelujah. I sing hallelujah.